the Rob and Steve Show. Here are your hosts, Rob and Steve.
And welcome back, everybody.
I'm going to have to change that to click and clack.
Yes.
I'll get in touch with Daniel. We'll change that to click and clack.
Oh, might be copyright protection on that one.
All right. We'll clock and click. Clock and...
You could go any which way you want.
Good film, that. Any which way but loose. Yes. Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello, hello.
I'm not Rob.
And I'm not Steve.
Him over there, actually.
Over there.
Yes, sorry about last week, folks. Mainly my fault because I didn't have any internet. Yeah, totally my fault. Well, you had a day. You had a day though as well.
Did I?
You had a day.
I always have days.
Up and down to London or wherever.
Oh,
to
that's
the hospital
right.
And back
I was up to London. There's a story there too.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that stuff. But yes, I didn't have internet, and it was St. Patrick's Day. I didn't have a drink on St. Patrick's Day. I should have. But yes, it was just one of those weeks. Been a pants couple of weeks, but we'll not go. Well, we might go there, but not necessarily. We haven't actually got any particular topic, have we, Rob, this evening? Not
completely. No, we're totally disorganized, but it's okay. We can kill an hour and a half or so.
Easy
Yes,
peasy.
We do have killed an hour. We do have Wood of the Week. And the funny thing tonight is that I was sitting here at 4:30 our time, because right now it's 5:34. So there I am sitting here at 4:30, right? And this is all up on my computer. And hang on, I'm going to show you this here. Oh, I haven't got it. But anyway, look at that miserable guy there. You see him? I'm sitting here looking at him. I'm like, what's he doing? He's standing up, and all I can see is his backside, and he's playing with his green screen. Green screen. I said green screen. And what's he doing? And he's ignoring me. So I sent him a little video chat, and he's like looking at his phone. I'm like, all right, forget it. I'll click off. And then I messaged something on Bananarama, and you guys says, did your clocks change? I'm like, oh shit, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and the was actually, you didn't see over there. You can only see this much, but you couldn't see over there. I was actually giving out to Robbie. I was like, I was little Robbie, not big Robbie. But yes, we got there in the end. I got nothing prepared because my internet only went back on yesterday, so late yesterday. So it's working well though. Much tap.
What's working?
My internet. It's working much. Yeah, because signs were the last show we did, not last Wednesday, but the Wednesday before. Signs were showing that it was on its way out, because if you remember, I was having trouble hearing you, and it was ick, up, and all that, and it was just
for going, you it was,
loopy loop. So yes, my apologies about the whole clock situation, Rob.
That's good, Ruby. That's good. So it will be 4:30 again, will it?
Yes, it will. Yeah, our clocks are about to change. So it'll be 4:30 somewhere in the world anyway.
Somewhere. It's
AM, PM, it doesn't really matter. We've got a few people out there. Should we say hello to a few people?
Say hello, Steve, to people.
Okay, let's say hello to a few people. Sarah was the first one there. Sarah was there at like, I don't know, 8 o'clock. Sarah, you need to get out more. Oh, you can't. No one can go out, can they? No, you stay in and you chat away. So Carol Lucier,
Canadian,
from Canada. Hello, Carol. Hi, Ruben. Ruben's got a project on at the moment that he's struggling with. Rob and Steve's there. John S. Leona had a bit of a nightmare this evening, but we won't talk about that.
Did she? What's going on, Leona?
With her video.
What's going on? Leona lost all of her footage. Ooh, yeah, sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that.
Sucks. Mike Yu, Jeff Christie. That's Jeff Christie, not Jeff and Christie. That's one person. Jeff Christie. One person. Ruby. Hi, Ruby.
Hi, Ruby. See you in the morning.
Who else? Are you going over to Ruby's, are you?
No, Ruby's coming over here. We're going to get some wood.
Cool.
we haven't got haven't got enough.
Because you're both stuck for a bit of wood, all right.
There's
Ian in the shed,
yeah.
Adam, Gav, and Richard, and MVM, Mole Valley Maker. Forget your name, sorry. Damn it, I'm rubbish.
I'm bad with names.
I've got a list as well that Leona wrote up, and I don't ever use it. In fact, I don't even know where it is. Hi, Debbie, Robert, Brian,
Jeff, Richard, Gav, Richard,
and Partridge in a Pear Tree. You're all very welcome. Anyway, and yes, this is the Rob and
Steve Show. How many people do we have in chat?
It says up on the little thingy up there, Rob.
I can't see it. Not on mine, it doesn't.
Oh, doesn't it? It's 17.
No. 17. I was 17 once. Twice.
I was 17 once too.
Maybe 3 times. I'm not sure now.
It was a long time ago. I worked hard when I was 17. Yeah. Really hard. I was working with my dad.
No, I didn't. I wasn't working. I did. Schoolboy.
I worked hard. I was schoolboy, but my summer holidays from the age of 14 to pretty much on from there, but school time, I worked with my dad every summer holiday.
That's good though. You made some money, right?
Every summer. It was my dad, Rob. Come on.
Okay, I know.
But yeah, was on the building sites and just loved it. Loved working on the building sites with Dad.
I liked building sites when I first started the trade. The smell of a building site. I don't know what it was. There was something about
the smell of all those butch builders, was it?
No, it was. I used to go to building sites when there was nobody there. Our estate where we lived, all the houses down the road there, they were all just holes in the ground when we first moved in. So we'd go and play in these holes in the ground and make dens and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. But
yeah, lots of fun. I think I put the central heating system in the house one summer in our house. Dad just arrived with all the gear and said, "There you go."
Was it in the middle of your street?
It was our house in the middle of our street. Yeah,
that's good.
Yep. It was our street. It wasn't anybody else's.
No.
Everybody else that lived there.
Well, there was another. Was there not another Steve Twydell or Dave Twydell in your street?
No, there was another David Twydell. There was actually. Yeah. So our house was here, number 40, and I think they were number 34 or something like that. There's another Twydell. Yeah, another Twydell family. Yeah. But they weren't related to us at all. And it was almost kind of like yin and yang. We were the good and they were the bad. The cops arrived one day at our door, banging on the door. "David Twydell, come out. We've got a warrant for your arrest." And
this 11-year-old boy came to the door.
you know David, right?
I do.
Back in the day, he was a skinny little timid kind of fella that wouldn't say boo to a goose, and
kick your ass now he would.
Yeah, they dragged him out, or they didn't drag him out. They said, "David Twydell, we've reason to believe that you set fire to Ashcroft School." So they tried arresting David, and we said, "Whoa, hold on a second." Well, my dad did. "Hold on a second. You are at the wrong house, copper. You want to go up there," which was pretty nasty of Dad, just presuming that the other David had also set fire to the school. Well, in fact, he'd set little piles of books in the library and set fire to the library. Very nice.
As you do
during the school holidays. Yes.
Yeah.
And he burnt down the whole library of Ashcroft School. Do you remember Ashcroft School going up in fire? Do you remember
me?
That? Yeah.
I don't remember the fire. No.
All right. Yeah. No, but yes.
I know that Ashcroft School was known for trouble. Always, lots of stuff went down there.
Yeah. It wasn't a nice school.
No. Okay, so where are we heading this week? We do have a Wood of the Week. What else do we have?
Just random talking, Rob. I think about what's going on in the workshop, what's going on in people's workshops. Do you know what? I think the workshop is very important at the moment for people. Very, very, very important for people.
The wood fairies aren't cleaning up my shop, though. When I leave here, and there's there's hang on a minute, piles of this stuff on the floor.
Okay, well, you see, when you say the wood fairies aren't cleaning up, I have this whole image of these little workers. Do you remember? There was a program on. Was it Fraggle Rock, where there was little tiny builders? Do you remember Fraggle Rock?
I do remember Fraggle Rock.
There was little builders. Do you know there's like tons and tons of little builders on it.
I don't really
Wasn't
remember.
there?
No. Fraggle Rock's coming back, apparently.
Oh, great. That's cool.
So
yeah.
It's like the Muppets on acid.
Yeah, no, I have this image of all these loads of builders kind of going around your workshop, just picking up bits of wood and tidying them up for you and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you just arrive in every half an hour and dumping more wood into your workshop. Got some more wood.
Pretty much.
Clear that up. Got some more wood.
It's not too bad right now compared to what it has been like.
Doozers.
I do have. Yeah, that sounds familiar. I do have a pile of sawdust right here, though. Look.
Oh, I was like really glad you've got trousers and pants on. Because I haven't.
Okay, well then we don't want to see the floor.
I just got out of the shower.
Fraggle Rock builders were called doozers. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, doozers. Yeah, I think. I think so. Yeah, it was cool. Yes.
Anyway, Ruby's not here to talk about Fraggle Rock because she left already.
I wouldn't blame her, to be honest with you.
I was collecting some wood the other day from a guy.
Really?
Yeah, from a guy out in Leamington. He had a tree. His parents had a tree that was felled, and the base of it was about 2 feet around. It was a honey locust, and that's what those shavings are down there. And Ruby also took some as well that same day. She had a bowl on her lathe. She's still there, Ruby. We're talking about you.
There, yeah.
She had a piece on her lathe that was, how big was it? 20 inches around, Ruby? But anyway, she roughed out this bowl, and this thing was massive, and it was heavy too. She had a guy help her, not the neighbor across the road came across to help her mount it onto the lathe. And I was thinking, you need a hoist, maybe, above your lathe. She's got everything else in her shop, but she doesn't have a hoist.
Yeah, well, or just call you.
Well, I would have put it up on the lathe for her, but
because you're well hard, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm getting weaker and weaker by the day.
Yeah, I think everyone is. It's
yeah.
I last week had a bit of a head. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to try and cheer myself up. I'm going to go out and I'm going to put a new roof on my shed. I've got all the materials out there. I'm going to put a new roof on my shed. Let's do this. And the sun was shining and it wasn't windy. So I headed out to the shed and I got the sheets of metal that I have all laid out, and I got the polythene and got everything ready. And I went in to have a cup of tea and it started pissing down with rain. So that didn't get done.
Look, see, Ruby does have a hoist. And it doesn't surprise me. £140, that piece of wood. God, dear.
She said she used it too.
Yeah, I guess. I didn't realize. You know what? Now you say that, I remember seeing it there.
Good remembering, Rob.
I've never had a piece of wood that I've needed to hoist up yet, but who knows? But anyway,
if I put a piece of wood like that into my van, the suspension would collapse.
Well,
just saying.
Ruby loaded the back of her truck up the other day. She had, I would say, probably 14 pieces in the back of her truck that were all this big. Yeah, like half a tree in the back of her truck. She's probably got it all rough turned now. I've still got 3 pieces in the back of my truck I need to rough turn. And the 2 pieces one piece I turned and put the coring system on and took out 11.5-inch bowl out of a 16.5-inch bowl. and they're now in plastic bags. Now, I need to come up with a better system for storing and drying wood, because right now I throw them in plastic bags. Hi, Tommy. That's a topic. That's a good topic, actually. Drying wood. Have we talked about that already?
We kind of skimmed across it, but
because I was talking. Who was I talking to today? Somebody. Oh, somebody messaged me. Richard. Now, what was his name? Let me find his name real quick. He contacted me and was. Yeah, it does. Robert Robinson. Okay. Robert Robinson.
Oh, yes, Robert Robinson. Yes.
You know that name?
Yes.
He's from Quebec City, Cantley in Quebec. And we were talking a little bit about the different ways of drying. He talked about the little beads that you can get that suck out the moisture. Cat litter would do the same thing. And shavings, people do that. But I'm just wondering, would that not dry it out too quickly? Carbide cutters on the coring system work best on that wood. Yes. Now, carbide cutters on the coring system, if you want a carbide cutter for your coring system, the one way, Killian Tools in Canada, they have one that will fit the one way. If you can put a link up for Killian Tools,
just looking now.
He has them. They're a little bit cheaper than, I think one way sell them, but they're a lot more money. Killian has the carbide cutters for the same price that one way sell the regular steel cutter. So it's definitely worth getting. I've just ordered 4, 2 for me, 2 for Ruby. They should be here probably by Monday. Now, I haven't got one yet. I was using a regular steel one that I sharpened, and it was okay, but I'm hoping that the carbide is better.
Thanks, Leona.
Cheers. So, Leona, that is my buddy Greg Wallace at Killian Tools. He sells carbide cutters and bars, and you can make your own handles, or he sells handles too. But they're just a cheaper version of the other brands of carbide tools you can get, and they're very good tools. If you're into,
they work very well. Yeah.
If you're into carbide tools or you're looking for carbide tools, go see Greg. You get a 10% discount from him if you use my coupon code WS10. WS10. If you use that coupon
it's
code
in the description.
Is it? Yeah. Okay. So Greg's a good guy. Carbide certainly has their place.
Yes, it is. It's in the description. The affiliate links are in the description below.
Perfect.
All right. Well, we may as well just jump into the old wood of the week, shall we?
Wood of the week. Wood of the week.
And now it's time for the wood of the week.
This week's wood of the week is, drum roll, bog oak.
Same to you too, with knobs on.
This is bog oak. So we can talk a little bit about bog oak.
Bog oak is lovely.
I'm going to read off this to you. So wood of the week, bog oak, also known as, and I'm going to pronounce this wrongly, abonus, and especially amongst, is best known, especially amongst pipe smokers, as mortar. It's known as mortar. They use it for making pipes. It's a material from trees that has been buried in peat bogs and preserved from decay by the acidic and the anaerobic bog conditions, sometimes for hundreds or even thousands of years. The wood is usually stained brown by the tannins dissolved in the acidic water. Bogwood represents the early stages of fossilization of the wood, with further stages ultimately forming jet, lignite, and coal over a period of many millions of years. Bogwood may come from any trees, especially species naturally growing near the bogs, including oak, yew, swamp cypress, and kauri. I can't pronounce that. Kauri. Bogwood is often removed from fields. I'm looking. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Nothing. No. You're doing very well, Rob. You've learned all that very well.
Yeah.
Well done.
Removed from fields and placed in clearings. It is rare. It is a rare form of timber that is claimed to be comparable to the same of some of the tropical hardwoods. Bogwood is created from the trunks of trees that have been laying in bogs and bog-like conditions such as lakes, river bottoms, and swamps for centuries or even millennia. Deprived of oxygen, the wood undergoes the process of fossilization and mortar formation. Water flow and depth play a special role in the creation of mortar. Currents bind the minerals and iron in the water and tannins in the wood, naturally staining the wood in the process. This centuries-long process, often termed maturation, turns the wood from golden brown to completely black, while increasing its hardness to such a level that it can only be carved with the use of special cutting tools, while the time necessary for the oak to transform into abominous varies. The maturation.
In other words, it's getting old.
Just like Rob and Steve, we're getting mature. Yeah. Commonly lasts thousands of years due to the ecological reasons mentioned above, as I just said. No two
Can you
trunks.
repeat that? I missed it.
No, I don't want to repeat any of this. Peat bogs. No two trunks can be found of the same color. So often they're strains of different colors. There's jet black for sure, but there's also strains with golden brown streaks and such going through it. Sites of high quality bogwood in the world are very rare, so it's not found everywhere. In the sites expected to yield it, mortar is hard to find, and access to the riverbanks and its bed is often difficult. Therefore, extensive preparation and the engagement of professional divers are necessary for mortar. I think mortar must be like a particularly sought after type of bogwood, probably the really jet black stuff, I'm guessing. Mortar is located in conditions of total darkness, and its extraction marks its first exposure to light for centuries of entombment. That's kind of interesting if you think about it. It's been sat in the dark in the bog for thousands of years, maybe millions of years, who knows. In England and Ireland, the three main types of bogwood that can be found are yew, oak, and pine. Reserves of the ancient wood can also be found in Russia and the Ukraine, where the northern regions has a climate favorable to the growth of oak. In Croatia, bogwood is typically found in the valley of the Sava River and its tributaries. The age of mortar found in Croatia rivers ranges from several hundreds of years in the southern rivers to the oldest retrieved so far from the Krapina River, dated at 8,290 years old. In Serbia, bogwood is over 8,000 years old. Is found in the valleys of the Danube, I can't pronounce this, Danube River and the Sava River, and their tributaries, primarily in the province of Vojvodina. Used to know a girl called from Vojvodina. Saving the wood for further processing is a very delicate matter. God, I got a lot here, don't I? I've got a lot to say here.
Yeah. Thanks, Wikipedia.
Yeah, Wikipedia. It's all Wikipedia.
I know, I'm reading it as you're reading it.
It's interesting, though, isn't it? Everybody could be doing this too.
It is interesting.
Yeah. Saving the wood for further processing is a very delicate matter. Extracted logs must be wrapped in waterproof material and meticulously dried to prevent warping. The process of wood desiccation is complex, and despite great care, most of the raw wood is unsuitable for further processing. For this reason, the price of high quality raw abominus is quite high. So it's an expensive wood. How much more have I got to say? I think I'm going to leave it there because I've got a lot more that I've written down, but it's a lot. This is a very thin piece of bogwood here, bog oak. And as you can see, it's black, but there's golden brown stripes going through it.
Just run your fingers over it. Is it textured like sun?
It looks like oak, the grain. And this is actually a piece that Steve gave me. That would have been in 2008, I think, or was it when you came here?
So
I
now
can't remember.
So now it's
And
6,000.
It's got a crack in it, but this is Irish bog oak.
Yes.
And
just looking at that crack, Irish bog oak is known for, if it's not processed correctly, if it's not processed correctly and dried correctly and stored correctly, it actually cracks really violently.
Yeah,
like it literally separates and takes off like a springboard. It shatters. It's amazing. Like, I've seen videos of bog oak getting to the point where it just cracks. I mean, people lose tons of the stuff because they just don't process it properly.
So this is chunk of bog oak here is from Poland. You haven't got those photos there, Steve?
I have. I can get them. If you keep
I did send you some photos.
You're doing very well.
So I got in contact with this fella in Poland and purchased some bog oak from him. And I wasn't sure that I didn't want to get ripped off. So he showed me a ton of photos, and he was even carving it with an axe. Like, it's hard wood. It's not punky or anything like that. It's hard wood, but it's jet black all the way through. And I did send Steve some photos and even a little video clip of the guy axing the piece. But he's got furniture made. His front door has got panels of bog oak surrounded by something else, like a regular white oak. Does Irish bog oak sound funny?
You have to be really careful when buying smaller blanks or even any blanks on the likes of eBay and things like that of bog oak, because there is a lot of fake bog oak out there, and I mean a lot of, probably more fake than genuine bog oak is being sold. They're just ebonizing it with solution, just normal oak. They're just dousing it with ebonizing solution and selling it as bog oak.
It's possible you're going to find that, but there's also a lot of true bog oak out there too. Like, I think if it was ebonized, especially with a vinegar type material, you'd smell that when you're cutting it. And
you would once you get it in the door, but you've paid for it by then.
Yeah, well, that's true too. Also, when you cut into it, you might find that the ebonizing hasn't gone all the way through. So cutting it would show you if it's just the outer area that's ebonized. But that's just that is a way to make a regular piece of wood look like bog oak. You could just take a regular oak blank and dye it black or paint it black or use the ebonizing solution, and you've got a very similar piece. But the history behind a piece of wood that's been in a bog oak for 8,000 years, and now you've made a bowl or a pen or a goblet or whatever out of it, is kind of cool to have that in your collection of stuff that you've made. I think that's cool.
I'm just getting the pictures now. So
yeah. The door was particularly cool. Well, a lot of those pictures that I sent you were cool, I thought. Has anybody got anything to say about bog oak? Bog paper. Is that where bog paper comes from?
I think somebody said that all they're hearing is you saying bob oak.
Oh, shut up then, shall I? I'll stop talking.
You can if you want, but then it's going to be a very boring show while people watch me just clicking images up into the
what are you doing?
folder. I'm getting these images because I can now. I've got internet. Couldn't before.
That's cool. So I've actually never turned bog oak. I've got a bunch of it, but I've never actually worked with it. Apparently it's the shavings are black, like dirty and dusty. So I think you definitely want to have good extraction, and you want to make sure your respirator is good and clean. And probably when you're done, you'll have to clean it because it's going to be dirty. Because it's black.
I've turned some bog oak, a few different variants of it, and I really like it. It's really nice to turn.
And not to be confused with African blackwood.
Nothing like that to turn. I've turned both.
Does that look like he's wearing the headphones now? Yeah. Anyway, this is African blackwood. This was a piece that I picked up in like a yard sale or something. I forget where I found it, but it was like $2 or something. There was 2 of them, and I picked them both up, and I thought I could make something out of that because I'm not really interested in this figure, but I could cut his head off. And I could make a bottle stopper out of his head. I could turn something, and I could maybe make 4 pens out of the body of so repurposing a piece of wood that you've got no use for, and it's expensive wood, right? African blackwood. So but it's not the same. That's from Central to South Africa. And bog oak, we just talked about where it's from. The Ukraine, Ireland and England, Poland, places like Croatia.
Okie dokie.
Richard has 3 slabs of bog oak. How big are your slabs, Richard?
That's a bit of a personal question.
And I have a bit of a problem with wood because I have an awful lot of wood. Yeah, it's a bit of a problem because you know what? It's amazing how much wood there is available. Like I was saying earlier, there's Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace is a great place to find wood. Oh, that's a terribly small picture. Can you increase it?
Will you wait a second, will you?
Okay.
Lordy.
So I'm sorry I can't remember this guy's name off the top of my head, but this is his log house that he lives in Poland, and outside there's a big bench, and as you can see, it's jet black, and that is a bog oak bench that he's made.
That's right, proper bog oak, that is.
Yeah. And then this is something I just found online from smaller pieces. So even this board here, this thin board, you could make something like this jewelry out of small pieces of bog oak. So you don't even have to waste smaller pieces. And again, if you have one of those little eccentric jigs that we talked about the other week, you can do all kinds of fancy stuff with an eccentric jig.
And it sells for stupid money, bog oak.
And what's this? Another table slab?
Bog oak jewelry or any kind of carved items sell for stupid money in craft shops and things. Well, I don't
know. I don't know if they would sell here so much. I don't know.
Well, they would if you wrote from Ireland on it.
Maybe. I like this photograph just because it really shows the blackness of that wood. It is jet black, and you can still see the grain. Yeah, it's black. It's black, and the grain in it is still. You can see it's oak.
Yeah,
that was something online too. Do you see his front door? You've got that.
I'm getting there.
Right.
One thing I haven't seen done. I mean, it's probably been done, but I haven't seen it. Is bog oak.
Look at that.
With some kind of embellishing cream put into the grain. I'd say that'd look kind of cool.
Yeah, well, it would look similar to a piece that you scorch.
Yeah,
and then it would be the same effect that you would get.
Bog oak looks totally different to scorched wood because it's almost as if it's melted. The wood's melted, if you know what I mean. Rather than scorched, it's almost like it's been formed and it's just cool looking.
That's neat, that clock there, because it's just a natural piece of bog oak that they haven't machined at all. They've just inserted a clock face into it, so that's kind of neat.
To be honest with you, I'd say they just found it with the clock face in it. in the bog, you find them all the time in Ireland.
Yeah,
you go digging up your turf, and all of a sudden there's a little clock, and you think, well, that's cool.
Well, that's how you know how old it is.
Yeah, exactly. That's 10 minutes old, that one.
Yeah. There's his door.
Thanks for all these brilliant pictures, Rob. They're massive.
I don't know why they're so small, but that's his front door to his cabin where he lives, and look at the inlay inside that door, and also the wrought ironwork on the hinges and the handle. Like, I had a few pictures that it sent me. This one I really liked just because of the craftsmanship.
That looks like a carving too that he's put on that.
I can't remember if it was a carving, but
it looks like a carving.
It might be. But some of the stuff he's got there is pretty incredible. He wanted to send me all this stuff to prove this is genuine bog oak and this is the kind of stuff you can make with it. So, and again, that's just a tiny piece that is there. Rather than just getting rid of it, you can make something out of it that somebody will wear.
Is this been stabilized by the look of it?
I don't know. It looks like it's been cut and finished for sure. And as you can see, the lighter streaks in it. So somebody mentioned earlier, is age got something to do? So is the less mature bog oak not black all the way through? How does it work? Obviously, we kind of talked about it a little bit, where the deeper it is in the bog and the more water flowing over it, the more minerals are going to go into it, and the iron and the minerals are going to basically start the fossilization process, which is what's turning the wood black. It's
basically petrifying.
It's
petrified wood.
It's pre-petrified.
Pre-petrified, exactly.
Yeah.
And the reason why it doesn't go to the next stage of being actual rock-like petrified is because it's constantly it's left in the damp and the wet all the time. It doesn't get a chance to dry out and get other kinds of minerals and stuff that petrified wood gets as it dries. That's cool. That's like a
big slab, yeah. A whole log.
Yeah.
He sent me one photograph, and it was literally, there were like 7 or 8 massive trees laying down that they'd pulled out of this bog. Just incredible. And the blackness of that wood is just awesome. And you see the shavings just underneath the log on the right. Like the blackness of those shavings. It's just jet black.
I likened it to
that's the video, is it not?
Yeah, I'll play the video in a second.
Yeah,
it's a different format.
Okay,
I will play the video. But yeah, it's almost like turning clay, hard clay. That's what it's like. The shavings you get off of it is like reams of kind of like a clay type material. It's very strange, very hard to.
Ruben's asked a question there. When it's petrified into stone, does it turn black? No, not really. I used to actually collect rocks, minerals, and fossils. I find all that stuff fascinating, and I actually think that would be an awesome thing to incorporate into woodwork. I've actually been thinking about it. I watched this guy on YouTube. He was collecting. Him and his girlfriend were collecting pebbles in a riverbed, and they were collecting them and cutting them and polishing them. And man, they looked amazing, just incredible, just a pebble. But to incorporate that into woodworking too could look cool. Even jewelry, things like that. People love that stuff. But does it turn black? So you can see how hard that is. This is the guy in Poland that I was telling you about. And if you want his name, I will get it for you, or we can put it in the description below later if you're interested in acquiring some bog oak from this guy, because he's got tons of it.
You can tell he's got tons because he's just chopped up about 500 quid's worth there.
Yeah. Well, he's got a lot. He's got a lot of bog oak, that's for sure. All of these little clips that you've seen were just to prove to me that it was real, genuine bog oak. And so, yeah, I got a box full of this stuff, and it's just sat there, and it's quite a problem. I got so much wood, I don't know what to do with it sometimes. But I've got the rest of my life, all 10 years of it.
So
I'm lucky.
So there's a fact that you need to bring with you as you move through life, is that if your wood gets hard as a rock, it turns black. You have to be very careful of that. But there is a cream you can get for that, Ruben, so don't worry about it.
I'm going to leave that one alone, I think.
I'm not. Yes. So that's wood of the week?
That's wood of the week, bog oak.
I tried sourcing bog oak here.
Well, yes,
in Ireland,
yes.
and
I was disappointed that you couldn't.
It's not easy. It's not easy.
You need to go in the backyard and dig a hole, another hole.
Well, if I dug a hole in my backyard, I would just hit bedrock. Unfortunately, because I'm on a cliff. So it's the mountainside. It's right the other side of the land where the bog is. Now there is lots of bog. In fact, last year in the heat, we lost a huge section of the bog land. It caught fire, and it all just burnt and burnt and burnt and burnt. Wow. And continued to burn. I think it burnt for almost a solid 2 months here, and it was just nasty. It took forests and everything with it. I'm eating randoms, by the way, everyone.
That's terrible.
Round trees, random jellies. They're very nice.
I'm not.
Like the song, Hole in the Bog. So, yes, jig? No, you don't have a jig. Do you have a jig?
I have not got a jig. Have I got a jig? You know what? I was kind of thrown off this past week.
Yeah.
Well, I've been out of sorts this past week because I just.
So have I.
I don't know. You know, it gets to you, all of this COVID crap, sitting at home, not knowing what to do with yourself, and feeling awkward about going anywhere or doing anything, or, you know, it's frustrating. And, you know, and I've been off of work. We can talk a little bit about that because a lot of guys are off of work. I've been off of work since January 5th. And girls, guys and girls. I've been off work since January 5th. And I think if it wasn't for my woodworking and WOODSLEE SUMMERCRAFT and people like Ruby and this Ryan fellow that Steve, Steve and Steve, because literally this show started the week after I was laid off. It was early January, was it not? When was the first show, Steve? 10 weeks ago.
Yeah. We're on, this would have been number 10, but it's 9 now. But so next week, I think, is cause for a little mini celebration, I think, Rob. 10 shows.
10 shows, yeah. We could have a little celebration.
I think so. Yeah, we might
you should send me a box of celebrations.
I've sent you a box of something to celebrate.
That's yet to be seen.
Yeah, well, they're on their way. I don't know where they are now. They're
for the last 2 years. For the last 2 years,
scooting across the
skies. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
Product savers.
Yeah.
So they're going to be available for the Canadians for the use of Yorkshire grit. That's kind of what they're for, right? That's what they're for.
They're for Yorkshire grit or any other
Yorkshire grit
tub the same size. Yeah.
So basically, to keep the shavings out of your grit.
Yeah, I don't have one here. So I've sent them all to you.
I haven't got one either.
I sent a couple of customized ones to you as well, which is cool. They've got your WOODSLEE SUMMERCRAFT name.
Those will be mine.
Yeah.
I might keep those. But I've been kind of mulling over in my mind, what do I want to do? Because I like to expand partly my business, but also my shop, the things I can do. And I kind of want to get a 3D printer, but I don't know I'd get enough use out of it. I've thought about getting a better laser because I bought one. It's in that closet and it's junk. And also a CNC, but how much money do you spend? Because you can spend anywhere from $1,500 to $20,000 on a CNC machine. It's just another area, another field of things to explore with woodwork. So
there you go.
I would also.
Why is it just oak and not other species of tree?
It is. It is other
It,
species of tree. We talked about that.
is, yeah, it is
It's
other. It is other species of tree, but
yeah.
It gets the name bog oak because predominantly it would be oak, because oak lives in that kind of, or used to back in the day, live in that kind of environment.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yew was another one mentioned, and pine was one that was mentioned either. So I find that interesting that pine would be one, being such a soft-grained wood.
Brian was disappointed that his weren't personalised. Yours were, Brian. Yours were personalised. They're bright orange. They're a limited edition.
You're
Brian,
not as special as me, Brian. That's what it is.
Brian has two
You should have
bright orange.
You should have sent his in tartan colours.
Yeah, Brian has bright orange ones. They were a limited edition. They were ones that I made. I was actually going to do like a giveaway thing, and I printed off some bright orange ones, and then it just didn't work out. So I had them there, and I just, I said, right, they're bananas.
It's the only filament we have
bananas are
left.
orange. Bananas are orange. I'll send them to them.
Are they orange? I thought they were yellow.
No, they're orange, Rob. Yeah, you see, it's that colour blindness. It's really messing with you. But also, in my defence, Rob's was a trial to see could I personalise them. So that was the first time I'd done that. So Rob is the first one, because he's my mate, isn't he? He's got the first personalised product savers. But if you want some, give me a shout. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. I'll sort you out. Yeah. So
what else have we got to talk about, Steve?
Well, we started talking about it, and then I stopped talking about it because I find it awkward. The whole COVID thing and what it's doing to us, and why workshops and stuff like that are important. Like I said, I'm not going to go into great details, but I had a bit of a meltdown the last 2 weeks. I suffer from depression. I've always been open about that, and my kind of depression is I'm functioning. I function with depression. I can go to work. I can do everything I have to do, but it's the moments when I sit down on my own that crap starts building up in my head and I start overthinking stuff. But not only that, it makes me short-tempered and pretty freaking arrogant, to be honest with you, with friends and family and people I love. I take it out on them. I take it out on people that I love, and it's just horrible. I can't help doing it. It's just that kind of depression that I have, where everything just grips me and I can't deal with it, and I just shut down and nothing helps.
I personally have noticed that it's gotten worse over the past few years, Steve.
Yeah, definitely.
I have, definitely. And I don't know if it's COVID.
Thing too.
Yeah, probably, but I've noticed it a lot, especially recently, the last few years. I'm like, we'd usually used to be able to laugh about some stuff that you have no interest in laughing about anymore. And I think maybe you've even forgotten that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I've got a really crap memory anyway, which is also pretty scary, but considering 3 of my grandparents died of Alzheimer's and mental issues. So that's kind of, when the memory starts going, I'm only coming up for 50, so that's a bit scary, but the memory isn't great. I can't remember names, never have been able to remember names, but childhood and stuff like that's all slowly disappearing. Rob will say, "Oh, do you remember blah, blah, blah?" And I'll go, "No, don't remember that at all. Don't remember him. I don't remember any people's names. I know a few people's names from school, but very few." So yeah, the tough thing is, I know I've got worse over the last few years, and that's the hard thing about depression, is that you can't get a hold of it. You can't change it. You've just got to learn to deal with it. And as you get older, it's a known fact that depression does slowly get worse too, but it's trying to.
I found that lately I've been having a lot of time to think. And I've been thinking about things I've done in the past, places I've been, people that I used to be with, whether it was my parents or grandparents or places like I've been thinking a lot about Memphis trips lately. I don't know, can't get it out of my head. I've been on a Memphis trip lately because I really would like to go back there again.
Well, I mean, we planned a trip
to
celebrate our 50th, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that was kicked in the head. So
I turned 50 back in December, and that was something that I have been wanting to do. The last time I was in Memphis was in 2005 with my dad. He passed away 2 years after that. And it's just something that I've wanted to do. And just lately, I've been itching to do something, go somewhere. It's been driving me nuts. A couple of times I've driven into Windsor just for the sake of getting out of the house. Windsor's half an hour away. Last week, I went to London last Wednesday with my son's hearing aid. He has a cochlear implant, and the exterior processor broke. So I had to go up to London to the hospital to pick one up. And there's a story there because as I was leaving, my phone's right there and Karen's texting me. And I just kind of looked at it. At a red light, I'm stopped there and it buzzes. I just look at it like this. And there's a cop looking straight at me. I'm like, fuck. I literally went like that.
Did you get booked?
Fuck. I got pulled over. I'm like, fuck. So I'm driving. He's looking straight at me. I literally went like this. Stopped at the red light. Fuck. I didn't type or nothing. I just, fuck. You know, changing the station on the radio would have been more dangerous. So I keep driving. Next thing, he's behind me. Look up. Fuck. Yeah. Pull over. So I pull over. Window down. I didn't do that because it's a push button now. I haven't done that in years.
He took his gun out thinking that you were having some kind of...
Yeah. So, first of all, I couldn't find my ownership. Secondly, the sticker on my plate, you have to put a new sticker on every year on your plate. And mine was overdue because I completely forgot because I haven't fucking been anywhere. So that was out of date. And what else was it? Of course, he says, you were using your phone. I says, I was at the light and my phone buzzed. It was my wife texting me. I says, I've just come from the hospital, literally just left. I'm like a block from the hospital. I said, my son's hearing aid broke. Here is the new one. He goes, oh, one of those days is it? I says, yep, I guess so. So he went back, came back. He goes, I'm going to let you off with a warning. He says, you're not from here, so I'm not going to drag you down to the station. So just get home safe. So I was literally coming. I came to the hospital, 2 minutes, left the hospital, driving home. Didn't even get charged in the parking lot because I wasn't there for more than 5 minutes. But don't text and drive. I wasn't even texting and driving. That was the point. I picked it up, looked at it, and put it down. But I
overtook a cop once.
You took him over?
More than once, but this particular occasion, I was driving my my work van, and I was in a hurry to get to price a job. I was on my way to price a job. I hadn't even looked at the job, and battering down the road anyway, down the dual carriageway, and I just flew past this cop and or the Garda, as they're called here, and I looked out the window and I just went and waved to him as I drove past, thinking, look, I'm going to be got anyway, so I may as well have a bit of a laugh doing it. So waved, went, how are you? And sure enough, woo, got pulled over, and he came over and he said, you're going a bit fast there. I said, well, I was going faster than you, yeah. Define fast. And he says, do you know the speed limit on this road? I said, yeah, it's 100 kilometers. And he said, yeah, you were doing 120. I said, no, I don't think I was. I think 105 maybe. You were doing 100, right? And his face was like, you cheeky bastard, you're trying to find out how fast I was going. Because he was definitely doing 110 because I went past him at 120. So he was breaking the law anyway. And all the cars he was following was doing 110. And he went, go on, you have me. And he let me go. But I think he was just humoured by my sheer brassiness.
I've got a similar story, speeding, long time ago. I wasn't even married at the time. It was back in 93, I think. I was driving home. I'll make it real quick. I was driving home, going up and down these hills and underneath a train track and coming up and down. And I got to a light and I stopped at the light. It was just like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd been out at the pub, as you do back in the 90s, because it was all right back then to drink and drive. But there you go. So I stop at the light. And I look to my right, and there's a cop.
Don't drinking and driving at all, Rob.
No. Don't drink and drive.
No.
I look to my right, and there's a cop sitting there. I'm like, shit. I grab my seatbelt and pull it on. I drive forward. He's behind me. Lights come on. I'm like, shit. Okay, so I pull over. I've been drinking, so I smell of alcohol. So don't do that, people. Window down. He comes up and he goes, in a rush. He says, well, just going home. It's been a long night. He goes, you know how fast you were going there? I says, no, I was going a bit fast. Just want to get home. He goes, yeah, you were flying. I says, oh, I'm sorry, officer. I'm just tired. I want to get home. He goes, are you from England? I said, yes. He says, I'm from England too. I says, oh, must have been a long time ago. You've lost your accent. He goes, yeah, I was just a young lad. He says, just get home safe and slow down. And he hands my license.
So off you go and drive again.
So I slowed down and drove home. But that was the 90s. You can't do that anymore. You can't get away with anything these days. You can't
rightly so.
Yeah, and rightly so. You shouldn't drink and drive.
Right. I tell you why I say rightly so. Because the cars are a lot more powerful nowadays. And whereas if you were driving an old Ford Cortina or Granada, the steering, you knew you had a steering wheel in your hand and you had to turn it. The cars we drive now are one finger driving. So if you're intoxicated and you just make that little...
Do you drive with your little finger, Steve?
I do, yeah. Just like this. Sometimes I drive like this. But yes, just a little... and your car's going to respond a lot differently to an big old bus that we used to drive back in the day. You're
talking about power steering, which we didn't have in the back in the day.
Yeah.
So
Leona got pulled over. There it is. I was pulled over at a checkpoint the other day for approaching a checkpoint at speed.
You're so excited to see it. You rushed to get to it.
Let me explain to you Leona's driving, shall I? I've been in the car with Leona. In fact, I was in the car with Leona on the way back from Maker Central. The car was more than full. In fact, the suspension was down on the back wheels because she had a new lathe in the back that we had purchased from Axminster, and we had all the gear for demonstrating at Maker Central, my lathe and all my tools, and we had our bags and everything in the car. And Leona still got her car to go quite fast round corners and things, even when it was fully loaded. She's a bit of a Lewis Hamilton in the motor vehicle, so I can pretty much understand Leona getting
pulled over,
told off for speeding. Yeah. Over here, you see the cops in the summer park up at night off the road in laybys and get a table and chair out the boot and sit there having a beer with their lunch. That's in she lives in Bulgaria.
Well, hey, the police, they got their job to do, right? So
stop telling tales, Steve. I'm in trouble now.
Uncle Bulgaria.
Daniel drives with his pinky raised, like you're drinking a cup of tea. Yes, so wood turning, has gone out the window this
It
evening.
has. Drinking and driving as tonight's subject. Don't do it, folks.
And don't drink and operate a lathe either.
I've
Isn't
had a
that
beer.
right?
I have had a
Yeah, I
beer
know.
this evening. I sat on the patio this afternoon. It was absolutely lovely.
Yeah, I know. I was actually messaging you at the time you were sitting on your patio drinking your beer.
I deleted your rude comment because all the Canadians won't appreciate it.
Canadian.
The Canadians.
Canadians. Yes, well, that's the kind of person I am.
You
I'm
are,
insulting,
Steve.
rude, and horrible.
At times you are, yes.
Yeah, well, that's just me. Get over it. I'm nice most of the time, though. Yes, I made a jig.
Did you? So you got jig of the week?
Well, I don't have it with me, which is quite annoying. I might have a. Do you know what? I can get a picture of it. No, I can get the actual model up of it. That's what I'll do.
Is it your sphere thing?
No, it worked really well, actually. I just wasn't in the form for using it. It's a pendant. It's pendant grips for turning pendants.
Okay.
Bear with.
I'm thinking of using just a glue block with double-sided carpet tape. Yeah,
well, the good thing about this is that you can maneuver it, flip it round, keep flipping it, turn it, move it, and you can kind of it worked really well. I did I forget what it's called. See, memory again.
Cool.
I did a lattice. It was a rough one. I did it very quick.
Double-sided.
Yeah, but it was a double-sided lattice pendant, and it worked really well.
Let's see it then. Or you didn't do it?
I'm just putting it. No, I didn't. It was rough. It was my first day back to the lathe after a couple of weeks of kind of having a bit of a blur. But I'm going to show you it now.
I've still got to finish my jig that I was making a few weeks ago, and that's kind of for this kind of thing, off-center turning. So pendants would be a good thing for that. But I was planning on just using glue blocks, but it still had parts on it that moved off-center. So
this is it. This is 40mm one. I also made a 50mm one. But basically, these have got a tenon on them. Let me just flip it over and show you.
The tenon goes in the truck, does it?
So there's a tenon. Yes, the tenon goes in there, but there's a slot all the way through it, right? And the way it works is you pop your disc of wood into that you've turned down to the right size, and then you pop that into the chuck, and it just squeezes it and holds it. And it worked really well. You just pop it. I 3D printed these.
So that's on center. That's not an off center jig.
No, that one. Right. That one is on center, and this one is off center.
Wouldn't you be cutting into the jig piece itself though when you work that?
No, because it's only held in there. That's 2mm deep, so it only just holds the very edge. So you can turn however deep you need to go in. You know, you can go more than halfway. Your pendants
depends on the size of the pendant.
Yeah, and what wood. Okay. But I mean, I think I made mine 5mm thick, which wasn't. Okay. You know, it was manageable. It was cool.
Yeah.
And then you can orientate it around inside this, right?
That's a good idea.
Pop it into that. You can spin it, and you can get different designs, and it worked really well. So yeah, drew that up, and
and it gives you a little bit of leeway too if it's just a little bit too big, right? If your disc is just a hair too big, or
you can
still squeeze it.
Exactly, you can squeeze it up. But I printed off a 40mm, a 45, and a 50. I think I have at the moment. But they take about an hour to print off, and they're good. It works really well, and
they're made out of the plastic, so it's not going to bugger your tool up if you do hit it.
But it's PVA, not PVA,
HDPE.
Whatever. I can't remember what it is. Again, the brain's gone. But it's biodegradable plastic. It's
really?
made of natural products. Yeah. So even the product savers are made of biodegradable.
I like that. I
material.
like that.
So
that's cool.
Yeah. So that's them.
PLA.
That's it. Sorry. Yes. PLA.
Never heard of it.
Yes. That's what I use to make the product savers as well. So that's cool. I got a few other designs here. This is called Tinkercad, by the way. It's free software, and you can do things like this. This was a project that I'm kind of thinking of turning. I'm working on this off-centered stuff at the moment. You can kind of put things on, and you can see, is it going to work? So you can build your block, which will be your blank, and then you can start putting spheres and things like that. And you can work out whether it can work or not, if it's going to be possible, which is cool. So excuse me, Ruben, it might be a good idea for you to get onto this Tinkercad, and maybe he's doing a project at the moment that he's trying to work out how to do it. You might be able to work it out on this and see, is it feasible? Very easy software to use. Just click and stuff. And I've got other stuff there that I don't necessarily want to share with people. So yes.
Steve, those jigs you just showed, those little round ones, are you putting them on your website? Are they available?
I will be. Yeah. When I've tested them a bit more, I don't want to sell things if they're not going to work. But what I'm thinking I might do is I might print off a few, and the members of the Banana Club, I'll send them out and get them to test them. Yeah, exactly. That's a good thing when you've got a group of people. We've got our own little community, and they're brilliant too. They're good for the head. So I can send out a few bits and pieces to those, and they can test them, and they'll be honest. They'll say, Steve, don't even bother, they're crap.
Well, it sounds like what you have there would be almost sent in the mail, in letter mail, if they're thin.
Yes. Yeah.
So
they'll just fit into an envelope. Exactly.
That's good for mailing, because I don't know about Ireland or England, but shipping in Canada is expensive. It really is. I mean, Canada's big anyway, right? From where I am to Vancouver is the same distance as the distance between me and Steve.
Well, that's not actually that far, because I can.
It's not. But yeah, no. So yeah, 3,500 kilometers or whatever it is. It's a big country, but sometimes shipping's like $20, $25, and it could be just one item. And I tell people it doesn't matter if you order 6 things or 10 things, it's still going to be the same shipping. So, but yeah, the thing you've got there, if it can fit in an envelope, then shipping is the price of a couple of stamps.
Yeah, so I mean, my idea is that I'll print off a set, so you'll get a set of 45, 50, 60, whatever to a set. I don't think you'll ever want a pendant any bigger than 50, would you? But
no, I don't know.
You could go a bit bigger for doing other stuff too, the lattice work for things.
I had something somewhere I was playing with. I'm not sure where it is now. I haven't really done much in the way of pendant work because
no, that was literally my first one. I saw Emma, the Tiny Turner, doing pendants. She does a lot of hybrids and stuff like that. She makes her own blanks and stuff pretty much like you, Rob, and she does them. And I was just watching her doing this whole glue block thing, or double-sided tape, whatever. I forget how I think it was glue block, moving it, taking it off, turning it around, blah, blah, blah. But it was like, wouldn't it be just easier if you just had a thing that you could just pop it out, turn it around? And the good thing about the slot being in that, you just put a little screwdriver in that, pop it out, turn it around, or even separate it, turn it around. And then if you need to adjust it as well, you still have a chance of just flipping it back over and popping it in and adjusting it, Whereas once you've taken it off the glue block, you're very rarely going to get it centered perfectly again to go back again. So it's always set in that one place.
That sounds like a good idea.
Benjamin spent all last year 3D printing from Fusion 360. Fusion 360 is a really good software, but when it comes to Tinkercad and stuff like that, it's literally just I can use Fusion 360. My original product savers were designed on Fusion 360 and a few other things that I made. It's, you know, when you get used to using it, it's okay, but it's almost overkill for the stuff I do. So I just keep it simple, stupid.
I haven't done any of that stuff. I don't have a 3D printer. So
yeah, I mean, I'd love to get another one. To be honest, I need another one to keep production kind of.
I think my problem with the idea of 3D printers, and the same thing with lasers and CNCs, there's so much on the market, and I bought a laser printer, which the intention was just to do pens, small things, but it's junk. Right. It's junk right off the get-go. It was junk. It didn't work properly, so it kind of put me off the idea. And I thought, okay, so that was a couple $100. I did get some of my money back from the guy because it didn't work properly right off the get-go, and it doesn't even work at all now. But so to get another one, I'd want to get one that works, you know.
Well, 3D printers, you can't go wrong with an Ender 3. That's what I've got. I've got an Ender 3, and it's brilliant. I've never, ever, touch wood, I've never had an issue with it. Very easy to set up. I had a bit of trouble getting the bed to line up, to level up, but there was just a shim that it needed. Went online, saw how to do it, fixed the shim, and it worked perfectly. The laser I've got is a really good one. That's a Creality.
Can you put links in the description?
Yeah, I'll put them all into the description after the show. Definitely.
What kind of price range are you looking at there?
So the 3D printer, I think at the moment they're going for, I think, $200 American. About that. And then the laser about the same, I think. And now that's on places like, actually, let me go on to Ender 3D printer. Let me go into the Creality store. They're Creality are the ones that make them. Okay, so there we go. That's, oh God, I wish I didn't look at this now.
Daniel says there's some good ones on Amazon. I honestly haven't looked because whenever I do look, I just get confused. There's so much choice.
Yeah, I mean, I can help you with that anyway. That's well, that's all about. But that's the one I have. That's the Ender 3D printer. That's actually only €150 at the moment, which is really cheap considering what you could do with it. You can make so many attachments for your workshop with these things. Now, they can take a while to print, but once you've printed them, you've got them, and you know, for hooks and shelves and racks and attachments. Like I printed myself off two M2 blanks, basically, that I put into my head and tail stock, and I use them for pushing pen kits together now. Just literally just made them myself, pop them in, boop, job done. You won't have to buy any small little gizmos again, but that's...
I suppose you could make those bushings for when you do CA finish too, right? Because
exactly,
yeah, CA sticks to the metal bushings, which is a pain.
Yeah.
So I don't use CA a lot, but sometimes.
But those three, the Creality Ender 3s, you can't go wrong with them. They're fantastic. The only thing that you do want to do when you get it, there's it's a heated bed that's on it. It heats up to a temperature, so you get adhesion to your printing. And the bed has like a surface on it. It's the plate that's on it comes off. It's just like a card, a metal card, but it has a adhesion surface on it, and it's not great. So all you do is just use regular painter's masking tape, the blue tape or any masking tape, cover the whole thing with that, and then you'll get brilliant adhesion. Not a problem.
Daniel's got a question.
Is that, yeah, I'll find out for you. I believe it is. I believe that is the size. 1 second.
You know, something else that you could perhaps 3D print would be a gizmo for the back of the lathe for a
yes, Daniel. Sorry, Rob. Yes, Daniel. That's correct.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'd love a vacuum
parts.
truck. Yeah,
for the front and back.
Absolutely. I've actually, there's a brilliant program on, oh god, Jesus, what am I going, website, and it's called Thingiverse. And if you go onto Thingiverse, they're all programs, G codes is what they're called, that people have made, already designed. Like, for instance, the things that I made, the discs there, they've just put the G codes up on this site, and you can use them for free. You can just go on, take them, print them off on your printer, and it's all free. And
cool. That's cool.
All those parts are on that. Now, the only thing is, with Thingiverse, is that you promise that you're not going to make them and sell them then, because you're making something that somebody else has designed. They've, you know, out of the kindness of their heart, have put the stuff on there for free. So you're not allowed to make them. There are people that I know that have taken stuff off of Thingiverse and are now selling those products, but you're not supposed to. Now, it's okay if you take their idea and then change it around to suit your own, you know, draw up your own and then change it and use their idea, but improve it to suit you, and then maybe sell it, because then you've modified it.
Yeah, it's
and
your own
it, right? But
if it helps you,
thanks,
do
Leona.
stuff in your own shop too, though, right? If it helps you,
exactly.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to mention is the cricket, or the cray cut, or whatever you call it. It's have you seen those things, Steve?
The which? Sorry.
It's called a cricket, or it's spelled cry cut, CRICUT.
Yes.
It's something. It's nothing to do with wood turning. It's more on the craft level, or the artistic side of it. You can cut leather, cardstock, paper.
I got one down there.
Vinyl sticker things. What do you got? You got a cricket? You cricket?
Yeah, well, it's not the cricket, but it's
okay.
It's not the electric version. It's the manual version that has rollers, and you can cut shapes out of card, vinyl.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Anything. I actually got it for Christmas from Rachel.
Nice. I'm thinking about getting it. I'm just not sure. Again, there's a choice. Which one do you get? I can't deal with choices. It's like, fuck, if I get that one, it'll be the wrong one. Oh, you should have got the other one. It's like, fuck, I didn't know. Excuse my language.
I think the best thing you could do in that case is go onto Facebook and just simply in these groups, just put a question. Does anybody have a cray cut?
Yeah.
What one would you recommend? Have you used it? And off you go. You know, that's what I did with the 3D printer.
The manager of Lee Valley in Windsor, I guess she loves the cricket, and she's got one and she uses it all the time. So I'll probably be talking to her in the coming weeks and decide which one.
She is definitely talking about the same thing that you are, yeah. The cricket. She's got a. Right,
I think so.
All right. No. Okay.
I think it's a cricket.
Okay. Wasn't a rabbit or anything. No.
It might not. No, it was definitely a cricket.
Okay, that's okay.
But
right, don't go there.
No, don't go there, Steve. I'm not quite sure where you were heading with that. Down a rabbit hole.
I'm going to have another random.
But no, my thought is vinyl stickers that you could put onto wood turned pieces and airspray.
Airbrush, yeah.
Airbrush. We've all seen. I'll just mention Jeff Horning, for example. He does airbrushing with landscape, like American mountainous landscapes, and feathers and Aboriginal symbols and things like that. And it's cool. It can be really cool. So
yeah,
that
Chris Fisher's doing the similar thing as well. Chris Fisher, the blind wood turner, has stencils custom made that you just
so
airbrush it.
Again, so with the Cricut, you could make your own stencils,
Exactly.
and that's something that I was thinking of going down the path with, because I'm always looking for something new. But
I'll let you know if this one's any good.
Right.
I've got to actually get I've got the machine. I've just got to get because there's plates. I can 3D print my own actually. Plates that slide in are actually the cutting plates, and basically you can actually 3D print depending on what you're cutting. If you're cutting a thick material, you need a metal one. You can buy aluminum ones, or you can get them custom made, quite expensive. But you can 3D print for just cutting card and paper and stuff like that, and just print them up to a fine edge, and they work perfectly fine. So
cool.
Yeah. So again, so many choices with the 3D printer, so it's
so many lot of things you can do, right?
Yeah, and I'm not a professional 3D printer. I'm still learning, but if anybody is looking to get one and wants any advice on setting it up or what to do to order one and stuff, just get in touch with me and I'll
cheers, Brent.
You're right.
Daniel's leaving.
Thank you, Brent and Daniel.
Cheers, Daniel.
See you, folks. Yeah, I mean, we're winding up soon anyway. We've only got 10 minutes left.
I think so,
just
yeah.
under 10 minutes.
So we've actually covered a fair few items tonight with Wood of the Week, and you've talked a little bit about jigs that you're making and some of the different tools that you can get which will help you in the workshop, from the Cricut to the CNC laser machine and the 3D printer. So if we can have some links in the description for all of that kind of stuff, because it's all kind of crafty stuff that we like to do, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think a good show would be maybe me
doing a demonstration.
Yeah, and just maybe going through the software and stuff like that, and maybe we'll draw
have a sped up video showing something being made.
Yeah, well, that is, but it's not actually as easy as you think. You've actually got to set up a Raspberry Pi on your...
I have no clue what you're talking about.
A Raspberry Pi is a little computer. It's like a little computer it's a circuit board that you can program. It's like a little mini computer that you can program yourself, and you fix a camera to it, like a GoPro or whatever, and it works with the 3D printer, so it moves with the 3D printer.
I was just thinking, point the camera at what's being made.
No, and I tell you, no, because it's being blocked all the time with the machine moving. So
is it? Okay.
So when you speed it up, all you get is the machine doing this in front of the camera all the time. The way this is set up is that it's in a place where it does micro pictures, and then puts it all together. Very clever technical stuff. So when you see these 3D models just growing on videos, that's how they've done it. They've used a Raspberry Pi and done that. Richard Morley did a couple of things like that. He set that up. But yes, so that's how you can do it. Yes, I maybe in a future show I'll show you how to do a quick drawing or a model on the software, and then show how you set it up and put it into the software for the 3D printer, or even the laser. We could do laser and 3D printer and stuff like that. That
could be two separate shows too, right?
Yeah. Mini CNC machine I have, but I'm still learning that. That's a different kettle of fish altogether. I have a miniature CNC machine, which is made from the same company, Creality and stuff like that. But it's just so hard to get it set up. I need to talk to someone that knows about CNC machines and stuff like that, because I kind of got it cutting on that, but getting depths and stuff like that is just...
Well, you got your X and your Y axis and all that.
Well, you've got all that with 3D printing as well and stuff like that, but it's just... just frustrating.
Adam would like to see laser and CNC for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. absolutely.
Because there's so many things you can do with those tools. I mean, you could turn a bowl. I think, Steve, you've turned bowls and done some laser etching around the rim and stuff.
I put I've turned wide rim and put Celtic knots around the edge and in the center and stuff like
that looked really cool. It's just you could do that by hand, but it just wouldn't look as good, and it would be really time consuming. I think it would be difficult. But
well, I did the 3D print insert too. Do you remember that one? I 3D printed a Celtic knot ring.
I missed that one.
And then I turned the top of the bowl so there was a groove in the rim of the bowl, and I set the 3D printed Celtic knot. It was black, printed in black. Put it in, and then filled it. I only had at the time. I can't even remember what I had. Some sort of filler, but it would work really well with milliput or something like that.
Yeah. Which is not that readily available over in Canada. I do have some. I ordered it on Amazon, I think.
Right.
But it's not something that's used a whole lot. It was a bit of a fad thing, I think. And I bought some. I saw Jim.
I don't know.
What was his name?
A lot of people still use it. I think Adam has just Jim Overton.
Jim Overton
Adam's
uses
just
it a lot.
Yeah. Adam's just used some on his recent project. It came out really well.
And the gentleman wood turner, he just made a bowl with a rim of it, and I'm looking at it thinking, I don't know if that's going to be very good, but it did come out quite nice actually. I just wasn't sure. I'm just not sure. It's one of those substances that I think I'd mess it up if I try.
I think it's okay for enhancement rings and stuff like that. You know, if you're just putting accents and things like that. I don't like the big thick lumps of jalopy that are put into certain projects, you know, and people just mix them up into a random blob. And I'm just trying to see if I can get this.
It's a bit like using pewter as well. Pewter, I seen guys melt pewter. Who did that? Brent. Where's he from? What's his? I got his sticker here somewhere. Bram, the Wadesmill wood turner. Bram did a pewter ring on a bowl recently. Now it is available. I did buy some recently, and I was not sure what I was going to do with it. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with it. But you can buy the old stuff, but it's got lead in it, and that's a bit of an issue. So,
I've used some of the old stuff. Again, it's like anything. Be sensible, wear all the PPE and all that, but if you're only doing small inlays and stuff like that, then
like on a box lid or something. If you had a little box, a little ring box or something, did a little detail on top, like Leona says, it's kind of it's been dropped off a bit now, but people were using it a lot for a while. I agree that it was being used an awful lot, and then it stopped being used so much. One or two people were still using it, and I did buy some a while back, and it sits in the cupboard over there. But
I think it's like, I mean, that's a whole nother show too. Fads and things that trend on social media. Social media. I had a little bit of a rant in our private group the other day about how many times certain things are posted across social media. If you're in say 10 groups that are all to do with wood turning, and someone goes in and posts the same bowl in every single, I just made this, boom, 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 you get 10 notifications of the same bloody bowl or the same, and it just like, it puts you off. It just makes you, it's nice, but I don't want to see it 10 times. I
do. I want to see it.
If I make something new, I might put it in 2 or 3 groups maximum, and
I'll like every one of them.
You will, yeah. We rarely see each other's shit.
I haven't seen any of your stuff.
Well, this actually, funny you should say, Rob. I finished this today.
I just finished this coffee.
I'm going to put me. I'm going to put me on the screen now. I haven't done that for a while. I made this.
Whatever.
This
Can
is
they
my
still hear me at
dragon.
least?
Yeah, they can hear you. I made a dragon claw. Goblet.
Me. It's lovely, Steve.
So yeah, that's made out of birch, sported birch, and it's got everything on that. I coloured and everything. Colours aren't showing on the camera very well, but this is kind of greeny purples and stuff like that.
Has it got nail varnish on?
No, yeah, gold nail varnish.
Lovely.
Yeah. And then there's an eyeball, a dragon eye carved into the base. There you go, look, can you see the dragon eye?
No.
There's the dragon eye. Just
Oh,
there.
I can see it. Yeah, I can see it, I think. Yeah.
I've
Cool.
made it look as if the dragon's kind of peering out of the bottom of the base.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it. It's mine. I made it for me because I made one
Good.
years ago that I liked and I wanted it, but I sold it. Well, I auctioned it for good cause. So I'll come back now, Rob.
Hello, people. I can't do that.
Yes.
I have zero control over this show. None.
Well, you could do that if you logged into the account, but I really don't want to give you another password for you to forget.
Don't want it.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Like you could log into the Rob and Steve YouTube
Don't do that either.
account too, but you'd only forget the bloody password for that too. So
Okay. All right. I see how it is.
that's it. Yeah, you're quite welcome to, you know.
You're the one with the bad memory, Steve.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that there's about 9 more than that doors at work, and they've all got a separate key code, and I know them all. I know
That's nice.
so many passwords for so many different accounts. I mean, I've got 63 YouTube accounts that I use for all my trolling, and I know all of the passwords for all of those accounts. So, you know,
I've never done that. I've never, ever trolled anybody.
no, nor have I.
I don't see the
There
point.
you go.
Why would you troll somebody?
Hey, Rob,
What?
let's not go there. Right. Yes, I think we'll call it a night because it's 11:05.
It's 7:05.
Don't want to go there.
7:05 here.
Okay, well, yeah.
This time next week it'll be 12:05.
I'm back to work tomorrow for a day and a half, and then I'm off for 2 weeks again.
I've been off for 10 weeks.
Yeah, well,
This is my second trial retirement. I nearly couldn't think of the word then because I'm old and everything.
and you're sucking at it, aren't you?
No, I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it.
Well,
I don't
you
mind
had a
it.
bit of a moan before the show, in fairness.
I did, but yeah, I'm allowed. I'm allowed. It's not all roses. It's not all daisies,
No,
is it? But life isn't.
roses that smell like poo-poo. All right, well, that's it. Good show, Rob.
Cheers.
That was... ready, one,
One, two, three.
Yeah, we got it. Right, we're going to say good night, folks. Thank you very much for watching. It was great to be back. Next week is show number 10.
We might actually do something.
I think we'll do a little giveaway next week.
Yeah, let's do a giveaway.
We'll work out a bit of a giveaway. I don't know.
I'm going to cast some orange peel and we'll make a pen blank out of that.
Cool. Orange hybrid. Nice. I must write that down and steal that idea. Is that okay?
You can have it. It's all yours.
Actually, I do have a topic, and it was actually Barbara Dill's idea. She sent me an article regarding people that moan about copying other people's work and that. And I think that's a good subject to go down. It's a good
subject. It's a subject that is very near and dear to you because it's come up a lot with you. Personally, my point of view, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. It really doesn't. Because I get it. Okay, so you've turned something, but it's all been done before. It's all been done before.
I'm not going to go there now. It's going to be a show, Rob. It's going to be a show. We'll do a show on it.
We'll do a show.
If we start now, it's going to go on for a while. So let's do. Okay. All right.
We'll talk
right,
about it
guys and girls. Thank you very much for watching. It's been great. I have not been Rob.
What?
I've not been Rob.
You've not been Rob, and I'm definitely not Steve.
So there you go.
No.
We're ourselves.
Click and clack.
Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you again next week. I'm just trying to fumble and find me bits that I've got to push.
Oh dear.
And
you wait till you're 50. You'll be able to fumble and drop stuff on the floor and everything.
I shall add links to all the things that we've spoken about this evening if I can remember. And if I can't remember, Rob will remind me.
Yes, I will.
Unless it's a password, and then he won't. Okay, guys?
Because he hasn't given me the passwords.
I'll give you a password. No problem. Guarantee you'll forget it, though.
Is it behind this hand?
You could. It's actually in this pocket. Oh, it's not actually, because I'm not wearing any trousers or pants. So
okay.
Right. Bye. Say bye, Rob.
See ya, Rob.
Thank you, folks. See ya. Bye.
See ya.